So we're here in Croydon, about to meet the GOAT himself.
Morning.
Subscribe for that. So with Lewis Perren again, this was actually his third project that he'd done. Loads of complications with this one, but ended up being an all money out deal plus 140k on top. So
it come about because actually my nan lives next door to the property, so they bought this barn over 30 years ago. Quite no one ever tried to get planning because they said it would just be impossible, because obviously it's grade 2 listed, conservation area, private gated estate, so there's no point even trying. So I said, look, at least give me the option to try, obviously at my own cost. So it took me 2 years of fighting planning, conservation, like every challenge available. But obviously I managed to pull it off.
Didn't you say as well there was it 18 people rejected, or they had something?
Not had one person for it.
Yeah.
It's all objections, but some of the objections weren't even valid. Like one of them was, we don't want it to be knocked down.
Yeah.
Like if they'd have actually read the plans, they know that it's listed, you can't knock it down. So
Yeah,
some of the objections weren't even valid.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, there's constant objections. Even the planning officer objected. If the conservation officer wouldn't agree this thing, it's just one punch in the face after another.
But you got there in the end.
So I got there in the end.
Should we look inside?
Come on, let's have a look.
The...
So this is bedroom number 1, the master bedroom. As you can see here, come through to the bathroom.
Sorry, that's not.
Bedroom number 2, slightly smaller bedroom. And then this is the open plan kitchen diner. It just feels really big and spacious. It doesn't look this big from outside, does it? But when you come in, it's actually a lot bigger than it feels.
Yeah, it's a nice cozy little property, isn't it?
Yep, and it's got its own little garden. The only rooms you have is 2 bedrooms and an open plan kitchen diner. So if you actually want to do some work, you want to sit here, you just don't actually have your own physical space. So we're looking at putting an additional room at the back, not in any year to come, but it's just maybe 5-10 years down the line, just exploring options. Just to make it that little bit bigger, because it'd be nice to have your own separate office space if you wanted to work, especially now since COVID, everyone works at home, don't they? But here you just don't have that option, unless you just live on your own and you use bedroom 2 as an office. So I just thought it'd be a nice little addition to have, like a little study.
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, all money out deal plus 140k on top.
Yep.
Let's run through the numbers.
Okay, so originally I got the garage valued as a garage, and they valued it at 30,000, just obviously as a garage.
Yeah.
And then obviously I got planning and got it valued after planning. They said 125,000. So I paid 125,000 for it, spent 135,000 on the build, and got it revalued at 600,000. So I pulled all my money out plus 140k.
What would you say is the best advice for someone who wants to get into property? Because all this stuff that you've just been reeling off here, people aren't going to know it, but you didn't know it before.
I didn't know it either, yeah.
So would you say just jump in and just learn on the job, or have a base understanding?
I could have saved so much hassle with just one question, and I should have posted like a property development, like a new build group, saying what challenges are likely to come up, or what would I need to refinance a property? What certificates will I need? So if you are in a group of people who are doing it and can give you advice up front saying, think about this, be aware of this, like on a mentoring call, when people can highlight to you, you're gonna save hours and a lot of stress and a lot of money. So working with people who are much smarter than you is a good idea.
100%. What are some of the things that you've learned or that you would check next time?
First thing I would check is the foundations, because you're going to need to dig a pilot hole to see what foundations this building's sitting on, because obviously they weren't ever meant to be houses. So sometimes they're just built on mud. You never know. So you're going to want to check the foundations, because if you need to underpin the whole entire property, I don't know if it's like £1,000 a metre, it's going to add up aggressively fast.
Yeah,
so number 1 would definitely be check the foundations the building's on. Number 2, I'd say, would be the utilities. As I mentioned before, like thinking about, right, where's the gas coming from? Where's the electric coming from? Where's the water coming from? Where's the waste going? Because obviously you're going to need a minimum fall on the angle of your waste. So to check utilities as well was something I did not even think about. So definitely you need to work around the windows, because it's a listed building in a conservation area. They don't like you adding new windows to the building and changing the look of it. So you've got to plan your internals around the structure of the windows. Each bedroom needs a window, the bathroom needs a window. So I would definitely be looking at, right, where are the windows, and see if you can get away with adding more. But conservation officer was very against me adding more windows. Then we've got trees. So with the trees, there's a large tree in the garden, and also there's a large tree out the front there. So we had to get an arboricultural survey done on the size of the tree and the size of the root span of the tree. And when we was digging the foundations, we had to take pictures every certain depth to prove that we wasn't near or damaging any roots. And we had to come up with a tree protection plan. So we had to get like Harris fencing around all the trees to make sure that no one can go near them.
Was there any trees harmed in the process of this?
Zero trees were harmed in the process. Another one just come to view was a structural engineer's report. Because it's listed, none of the walls are straight. I think it's true, this was just thrown up quickly, so some of the walls do lean a bit. So obviously the lender wants to have the certainty that it's all done safely, so they did want me to provide a structural engineer's report before starting work, and then a structural engineer's report once the work had been done to prove that everything is sound. So where the wall leans out over there, I had to put a steel that runs the length of this wall, and then that steel's tied in by another steel that runs the length of the house there, so it's like a T-joint to tie that wall in, because it did slightly curve out. So we built a brand new internal wall. That wall's now butted up against, and the steel now ties all that back in. So the next thing, which I'll definitely look at, is a damp-proof course. Because I didn't realise, you know, obviously these buildings aren't built to be homes, so there is no DPC. So I would always check just to see if there is one, very easy to check, but if not, you're likely going to need damp injections every 4 to 6 inches around the whole entire building.
And that's what you've had to do?
Yeah, so I had to do to act as a damp course.
Yeah.
So another thing I forgot was the new build warranty. Because I didn't think this was classed as a new build, because the building's over 100 years old. So I thought, how is that new? Like, this is old. So I didn't even know about a new build warranty until the lender asked for it. And then I had to get one retrospectively. And not many companies do that. So they'll basically go back, look at the building control officer's notes on the build. They'll go back, look through the structural engineer's comments, and they basically go back, look through all previous information just to confirm that it was built according to like the structure that it was meant to. So I had to get that retrospectively, which was about 600% more than if I'd have instructed it. So next, I had to get an SAP, which is a standard assessment procedure, which underpins the EPC, the Energy Performance Certificate. So basically what that is, that's a calculation based on the architect's drawings of the amount of insulation in the walls, in the ceilings, and of the appliances that are being used to assess how much the energy is the house storing, using up and putting out. And the last thing was obviously lending, because when I tried to get a bridge at the start, because of my experience, I didn't have any. And also because of the complication of a build, you can actually get lending for a new build easier than you can get lending for a conversion. Because a new build, you can build off a sheet, everything's brand new added. Where it's a conversion, you're dealing with what's already there. So they don't know the level of problems and challenges and how bad things are if things are not done correctly. So it's actually easier for me to raise it privately and do it that way than try and get lending myself.
That's mad.
So you've got to think about, you know, your entry into the deal and also your exit. Because we struggled to find a lender at the start to get out the deal because of they was worried about the build type. So some lenders didn't like it. Yeah. So we had to filter through and find one that did. So obviously you want to plan your exit at the start. When you give it to your broker and they say, oh, we can't find any lenders and it's been 3 weeks, and you know, it's a little bit nerve-wracking.
So again, there you go, guys. A few things that you need to think about if you want to do a project like this. So yeah, literally 1 minute away from where we just was. We've got all of this. Well, you've been looking into buying Woodlands.
Yep.
What's the reason for that?
I want to set up like what they've got here. They've got like a forestry school for children here. So it's a big goal of mine to be able to buy Woodland and set that up, and also find different ways of making money through the woodland. So I also want to have like my own beehives, make money through honey there. I want to obviously encourage more like nature to come, because if you get certain species of birds, you get photographers that can pay £200 a day to photograph specific bird breeds. And just connect children back with nature. Like, cause I grew up around here, so like I was always in the woods, outside with nature. Everyone's just so disconnected. Yeah. So
all kids these days are just playing on like Xbox, PlayStation. Like we was playing in the garden with sticks and chickens.
That's it. That's how it should be, right? Connecting with nature, but they're so detached from that. Especially it was lockdown that made me really think about it. Like people who lived in flats, who have no gardens. What are they doing? Yeah. They can't go outside. Yeah, it's mental. So I was thinking, right, if I own the woodland and then I have enough money that I can buy my own like coaches and stuff, then I can go to the schools and say, I'll provide this service. It doesn't cost you anything. So now money's not an objection to them. And also I just want to be able to protect nature so that nothing can happen to it. So that way it's like preserved. So I want to buy 100 acres.
Let's talk about the tax benefits as well of doing this.
Yeah, so basically I was looking at woodland nearby and I couldn't find anything anywhere. There's nothing for sale. So when I rang up the woodland auctioneers, I was like, why can't I find any woodland here? I said, what are people doing with Woodland that's so important that there's none for sale? And he said, do you not know about the tax? It's like a tax haven for the rich. Apparently, you can buy Woodland and pass it down, like inherit Woodland tax-free and then sell it. So you don't get inheritance taxed on Woodland. So if I had £1 million, instead of me getting taxed on that, I could buy £1 million of Woodland, pass down to my kids, they could then sell that and there'd be no tax to pay. And also any woodland that you have, that you own, you can commercially sell it, sell parts of like trees, branches, whatever, that's also tax-free.
Yeah, 100%.
So
sweet, I think we'll leave it there. Full of knowledge, Lewis Perren, give him a follow, subscribe.